Well, holy Shiite Batman. We got people quoting Osama bin Laden. We've got another insurrection. We've got a civil war within one of the in an area where we knew it was going to happen. Happy Thursday, FTG Thursday. Wow. There is so much going on. And that's why I'm here, because I'm here. Oh no, no. Hang on a second. I got a couple breaking things too. Holy moly, we're just gonna do this thing. Let's do it. Hey, stop the music. Thank you. Now, Johnny, play the intro. Come on, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yeah, we got a lot going on today. Holy smokes. Here we go. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I am your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And I'm enjoying myself a little breakfast wine here, also known as coffee. Reparations coffee, of course. And as I'm prepping for the show this morning, after I got here, just so many things popped up. And I'm just like, wow, the trending topics are wild. Some of the new stuff that just popped up is wild. I am... I'll tell you, weird, frightening, astonishing, and I told you so's are all happening in this show today. It is FTG Thursday, and there'll be plenty of people to FTG, and some that you just go, that's okay. We'd like that. But anyway, let's welcome everybody to the show, and we'll just do our thing like we do every day. A lot of times it's stuff that I talk about long before anybody else. And a lot of it's thanks to you. For example, yesterday, Gunfox alerted us to the fact that the Super Heavy got its launch approval, and now it's going to happen Friday at 7 a.m. Gunfox or 7 p.m. I know you're here somewhere. Tell me if it's 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. But yeah, how about that? And we talked about that yesterday, and I noticed a bunch of people in the news popping that into their little thing today. And I said, oh, well, thanks to you, my audience, you got the grand introduction to what's happening. So congratulations for being here, and I'm glad you're here. Hopefully you can invite some friends here once in a while, and maybe we'll make this party like a party on the mall of the Washington. What is it? The Washington Mall? No, where's the mall? The mall in Washington. Wouldn't it be cool if we could get like 10,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 people here one day? But you know, YouTube's not helping that, so I can only ask for you to do it. Anyway, let's say hi to everyone here and let's get into it, because I got tabs open. I know I'm not going to get half of these today, but we'll try to get through at least some headlines so you know what's going on in the world, what people are going to be talking about, what they're talking about now, and so on and so forth. First, in the chat over on Rumble, Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. And his theme music, also good morning to Mike Savage, Blarg, and Jimmy Das Hotep from Hotep Nation. On YouTube, again, Avocados Diablo gets the bell. Also, good morning to the greatest Discord administrator on the planet, Mr. Gunfox61. Good morning, sir. Good morning, also Somnambule Nation. Thank you for tweeting out the show like you always do. I appreciate that more than you know. Also, good morning to Mike Savage, Blarg, Selecta Boys in the house bright and early.
Yeah, boy.
Also, good morning to Rick Ashbringer. Good morning, the Grand Inquisitor, Mr. Tire, Alexander is here. Also, good morning, Simon Wolfwood. What's up? Good morning, Wow. That's it. Is that everybody? Oh, Cannibalistic Wizard's in the house. There we go. And Maddie's in the house. Also, I just saw Mason Cornish. What's up? I guess I scrolled down too far. Attack Alpaca's here. I think that's about everybody. But anyway, share the stream, do all that stuff. And if you want to sponsor the show, we'll pin the sponsor league link, which pays my cable bill. I appreciate my internet bill. I always say cable bill because I get internet through cable. Doesn't mean, well, and we'll get internet and our Netflix through cable because the reception's better. And I hardwire everything. So I ran wire through all the house. Although I figured out how to improve my Wi-Fi connection through Windows, but I'm not going to do that. Anyway, let's just quickly, let's get into news because it's there's a deep pile of papers, so to speak, on my browser. So, by the way, if you haven't joined, followed me on Locals too, and it doesn't cost you anything to follow me on Locals, but if you follow me on Locals, you're will certainly get notifications much quicker than you would on YouTube or Rumble. And even if, well, sometimes, like some of you get here right away, but if you're watching this show right now and whether you watch a replay or live, follow me on locals.com. It's PDogNight, just like there, and there it is. That's my Locals page. And I announce the show every day on Locals, and my goal here is to make this a place to find stuff about the show too. Between this and Discord, you should be able to find everything that everything we do. But this one will give you the notifications like immediately, versus YouTube. Sometimes it takes a half hour to an hour to get notifications, and then you show up and you're like, oh, the show started a long time ago. So that's a good thing to do. And if you want to make this is also my form of Patreon. Now I only have a couple sponsored Patreon or supporters, but you can be a supporter here too, like with just regular monthly donations. It's not required, obviously, because I don't private anything on Locals. But that's just another way to sponsor the show. So there you go. All right, let's get into news because we got a lot. We got a lot today. Holy moly. Let's start with things that are trending right now. Sorry, real quick. Thanks, Jimmy.Hotep and Somnambule Nation for tweeting the show out. I greatly appreciate it. If you see my tweet, in fact, here, did I tweet? I did tweet the show, right? I'm pretty sure I did. Let me check my profile here. Well, hot diggity, dog diggity. I absolutely did. So let's copy that link. I'll put that in the chat too. If you want to retweet that, just go ahead and click that and then retweet it if you happen to be on x.com, or you can share the stream using the little arrow down there and whatnot on both YouTube and Rumble. That'd be great too. I appreciate it. All right. A third time, let's say, get this news thing started though. Okay. All right. So things trending. Now, certainly I usually try to start lighthearted, and this is certainly lighthearted. As I mentioned earlier, or maybe I didn't. It's Thursday, the 16th of November, 2023. And if you don't know the significance of that date, well, you'll be hearing about it a lot today, because Zach and Cody can finally dine at the best restaurant in all of Italy that they made reservations for 15 years ago. I don't know. It's funny because I was never a Zach and Cody person because I was too damn old. But I know my kids watched, what is it, the Private Life of Zach and Cody or something like that, the twins here. And they reserved a table in an Italian restaurant 15 years ago, and today is finally the day of the reservation. So this clip's been popping up, and I'm sure whoever owns this clip will try to take the money from my from my whatchamacallit. But I'll dispute it because this is commentary. This is clearly commentary about the restaurant that Zach and Cody tried to go to. So here it is.
Of course. I can squeeze you in at 7:30.
Perfect.
On November 16th, 2023.
Hey, did you hear that? That's how far ahead their reservations are booked. And I think whichever one this one is, I don't know if this is Zach or Cody, because I don't know anything other than they're twins and they have a funny show on Nickelodeon, I believe. He says, well, what if we're not feeling like Italian then? Well, I hope you're feeling like Italian, Zach and Cody. You're probably close to in your 40s now. And now you can go to that Italian restaurant. Good morning, James Stoner, by the way. Hello, what's up? All right, so that's, again, I start out with lighthearted fare or the special days. Well, that is the special day. Zach and Cody can finally go to that high-end Italian restaurant, probably overpriced and probably $40 a plate now that, the Biden administration said. All right, now, I did mention, too, that, here's the other thing, another lighthearted thing. Apparently, Frozen 3 is in the works, and there might be a Frozen 4 in the works too, according to Disney CEO Bob Iger. Now, I'm curious. Not that I care. Frozen is not one of those Disney movies I'm all that familiar with either, but my daughter liked it and my son liked it, and they went to a live production of it and whatever. But I'm curious. Are they gonna race swap Frozen? They may, they may not. It is Disney. The crazies are still there, and who knows what they're gonna do. So it'll be interesting to see if Elsa becomes a disabled Latina, or if it'll be just the same old Elsa. So who knows? So, but anyway, for those who have kids, Frozen 3, baby. Frozen 3. Good morning, San and Rod Line. Nice to have you. Frozen 3, Dykes on Ice. Yes, they will be. Her and the other one will become lesbian lovers. That's how they'll do it. Disney is shitting the bed making content, especially MC. Yeah, they suck. Disney sucks right now, and parents aren't taking their kids to Disney movies. Now, the other thing that popped up, that this was just a minute ago, Hotep Jesus tweeted this out. Apparently, the International Monetary Fund, what did I say? Monetary Fund? I didn't say that very well, did I? I said it. I Joe Biden'd it. Joe Biden, the name. The International Monetary Fund is announcing plans for a global CBDC platform, as in global currency, one world digital currency. Here's the announcement, I think.
If we are to be successful, CBDCs could not be fragmented national propositions.
Digital currency.
To have transactions more efficient and fairer, we need systems that connect countries. In other words, we need interoperability. And for this reason, at the IMF, we are working hard on the concept of a global CBDC platform to trade and to manage risk. If we are to be successful,
now,
CBDC...
Shut up. So, interesting points on this. Oh, I missed it. I passed it. What did I do with it? Problem with that is, wait, what the hell what happened there? What the hell happened there? Oh, I never, let's see. Nope, that's not going to be it. Well, so much for that, Pab. I don't even know what it was. And it's not one that I could redo because I was going to copy and paste one there. Problem with this whole digital currency thing and not being able to use cash. First of all, people who use digital currency, don't they have to have electricity? Also, do you want a global body, International Monetary Fund or anything like that? Do you want any kind of global body being able to control how you use money? I mean, granted, with the cards and stuff like that, now they can kind of do that. They can kind of determine what you can and cannot buy and what you can use the currency for and what you can and where it's going. They can track everything you do. They can tell if you bought guns or whatnot. But we still have a cash system, right? Fortunately, they're still fast. I do not want cash phased out. I want to be able to use cash because cash is private. I think he made in fact, let me check Hotep Jesus's. He made a good list here. Let me find it real quick. Hotep Jesus. We're going to go here. He made a good list of why Cash is still king and should always be king and shouldn't be left by the wayside. Let's see if I can find it. I know he put it up here somewhere. Central bank currency update. Oh no! Look at this. Here it is. Here on hotel. I'll just leave this whole page up here. Cash, private and anonymous. No connectivity or electricity is needed. No intermediary is needed. Does not leave a digital trail. As in, they don't. I don't want them knowing what I buy. I don't want any kind of just let me take my cash and go do my thing, right? No. At least to one run by the International Monetary Fund or run by any particular government. There's several governments setting up digital currencies, and central bank digital currency. That's what it's called. Kazakhstan announces CBDC digital tenge compatible with Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, and debit cards. Yeah, I don't want any digital currencies that are controlled by particular governments. I'm just saying. There's a reason why you don't want any governments running your Bitcoin. Thank you, GunFox81, for a sponsor today, and that makes you the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. GunFox says, one world dollar will really hurt the U.S. and a very small amount of nations, but will be a huge help to China, Africa, South American nations that already get money from the U.S., which we should stop all foreign aid money. And yeah, it's funny. Someone made a good point the other day. Are there other countries in the world where you tax your own citizens? Do you constantly tax your own citizens? And then you give money to other countries? It's just a weird system that we have. We're always giving money to other countries from our taxes. I'm just saying. Good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite. Good morning, sir.
That's right.
And Tyler F's here. How you doing? FTG Red Pill, Black. What? Black FTG F. Ben Shapiro. Yeah, there's we'll get into that because that's that story is fascinating, and I'm not going to get into detail. I'm just going to tell you what other people are saying about that little dust up. But I got other things before I get to that, though. I promise. I'm going to get to that because that's the main topic of the day. Digital money is all about oppression. Yeah, digital money is about control. That's just I'm not down with it. At least not government digital money. Okay, if you want to have an exchange system outside of governments that's more free, I'm fine with that. But man, that's why I'm wary of all digital currency now, because somebody's going to be able to go in there and track it, and I don't need you tracking my shit. Okay. Real quick before I move on, thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep with the big bullet in the tip jar, and now you our new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, who says, politicians who roll out the red carpet for communist dictators literally and figuratively are for one world currencies. Also, it is not a party specific. Likely they both suck. China is asshole. Yes. They both suck China dick. And
China is asshole.
We meant to throw out a China's asshole. Yeah, man, this boy, the welcome for Xi Jinping. Boy, I'm glad Biden invited the boss to dinner. Anyway, we'll get to that. I'm going to try to get to all this, but we'll see. But if you keep throwing money in the tip jar, I'm going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. So I'm going to do it. But anyway. Also, Nikki Haley went all feminist on us, apparently. It's weird because, she doesn't want to be thought of as special, but she certainly wants to be thought of as special. Here's she doesn't like being criticized. And here's what she says.
What happens? He comes out of the gate. He hits the female chair of the party. He hits the female anchor.
Ronna McDowell sucks.
On the platform.
And the anchor's right.
And then he hits me. And I'm not saying anything.
She's calling.
I'm just saying.
But he might have a girl problem. I'm just saying he might have a girl problem. What happens? He comes out of.
She's talking about Vivek. She's pulling a woman card on Vivek because Vivek is critical of her. and Ronna McDaniel, who clearly sucks, and I'm not thinking the good way, and whoever she's talking, he's attacked the media. He didn't attack one particular media person. He attacked the entire media, and it was an appropriate attack. So Nikki's just playing girl card, apparently. And you know what? Hey, you want to play with, you want to get in the fight with the boys, be in the fight with the boys like you are. And stop, don't play no women card bullshit. That's just crazy. All right. Next thing, insurrection is trending. Now, apparently, there's another insurrection that will not be considered an insurrection. Apparently, the pro-Palestinian rioters clashing with Capitol Police outside the DNC headquarters in Washington. Apparently, it's insurrection because several officers were injured. And a lot of people are saying it got another insurrection in Washington, D.C. Will they be put in solitary confinement like the J6 protesters? I mean, they went straight for the Democrats on this one. And everyone's saying it, okay? So that's 6 U.S. Capitol Police officers were injured as a violent leftist mob attacked the headquarters of a major political party. I expect the GOP to lead the call for a House subcommittee on the 11/15 insurrection. So there you go. We have another insurrection, which, you know what? I think it's silly to call that an insurrection too, but hey, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, some shit like that. I don't know. I'm just saying. All right. And so because of that, the DNC headquarters is trending. Last night's hundreds of Democrat activists were violently assaulting Capitol Police officers outside the DNC headquarters in Washington, D.C., and only one arrest was made during this. Now, that is shocking. That is shocking. Only one arrest was made, according to ABC News. Breaking Palestine protesters are attempting to invade the DNC HQ in Washington, D.C. as we speak. D.C. is falling out of control. Pray for our law enforcement officers having to handle this. Well, I'm pretty sure no one's going to be telling them that they are insurrectionists, I guess. So anyway, outside the DNC HQ last night, Hamas-friendly folks threw a riot. So, yeah, there we go. Insurrection. The DNC is also trending. Now, is the DNC going to demand that the DC police press charges? Funny how they call up the National Guard for a peaceful... Oh, and then they had the National Guard around the peaceful protest on the Washington Mall. Funny how they call it the National Guard for peaceful Jews gathering in support of Israel, but not for the violent insurrection by pro-Hamas mob outside the DNC headquarters, overwhelming and injuring a Capitol Police. Now, I'm going to give them a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of leeway here. The thing outside the mall, I would say if they pulled National Guard troops up there, I would say it may have been as much to protect that group as it was to monitor them, which, they're monitoring them too. And it was organized in advance. They had the park permits and all that shit. I don't think this insurrection at the DNC headquarters, probably not planned, so they probably didn't need to call in the National Guard, because I don't think this was like, I bet it was a little more impromptu, and certainly they didn't apply for any permits to attack the DNC. So, but it was a riot, and oh my gosh, Kyle Kulinski. Okay, here's the FTG today. Watch 100% peaceful anti-war protesters representing 66 of Americans demand a ceasefire in front of the DNC and get assaulted. Really? 100% peaceful. On January 6th, the peaceful protesters that were at the Capitol were had flashbangs and batons, were hit with batons. Flashbangs thrown at them, were hit with batons. So anyway, you know what's fantastic about this? The Democrats created this monster that attacked the DNC. You decided not to punish Black Lives Matter. and Antifa rioters, you get what you created. Now, there's an interesting thing here. Now, this person right here, I want you to remember this face. Let me put this face on the screen real quick. I want you to remember this face right here for later, and hopefully we'll get to it. This face right here, okay? And this is what is she yelling?
Inside the Democratic Party headquarters, because this party claims to be on the side of life and peace and equality, and we're saying we want them to live up to their values and oppose this horrific war and call for a ceasefire now, and we're being responded to by the police.
Okay, remember that face. We'll get back to it. I promise. We'll get back to it. All right. Also trending right now is Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, and apparently Christopher Wray, who's been targeting Trump supporters, who were at the Capitol on January 6th, but claimed he did not know that a terrorist group called Global Intifada organized the illegal occupation of the Cannon House building on October 18th. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Not only is Mayorkas willingly breaking our laws, allowing terrorists to flood our country, Wray is not investigating or arresting actual terrorists that illegally entered the Capitol complex. That's interesting. Hello, Annalyn. Let's see. So that's, and she was, you can watch the video. And also, Clay Higgins kind of ripped him a new one. Here's Clay Higgins talk. Oh, this is 5 minutes long. We're not going to do this. A lot of people were, so I'll put this link to Clay Higgins' questioning of Christopher Wray in the links today, because it's interesting how whenever you have someone who does, what the hell's going on here? There we go. Whenever you have someone who questions somebody at a hearing in the House or the Senate, how people from like both sides of that political spectrum can use the same testimony to try to make their, talking points. But here, Benny John says, Representative Higgins asked FBI Director Wray point blank if the FBI sent ghost buses filled with FBI informants dressed as Trump supporters to the Capitol on January 6th, and Democrats rushed to cut his mic. And Wray at some point vehemently denies that the FBI, any FBI personnel, his words were that they did not instigate any of the riot. That was his answer. It wasn't the answer to the question whether or not they're there, whether they're embedded, whatever. That they did not have they absolutely did not have a plan to instigate a riot. Well, that's not a question that was ever never asked. And so several people asked about him, and apparently ghost buses were uncovered, filled with FBI agents dressed as Trump supporters on January 6th. The truth is slow, but it keeps moving forward. Your day is coming, Mr. Wray. So this is one of the, this is Congressman Green, who's the chairman of this committee that's asking the question. Here's what he's saying.
Now recognize Mr.
May I
Wray.
close this statement?
Oh, excuse me. This is, I'm sorry. Well, here, hang on.
I think your time is expired, Mr.
I note that other members across the aisle have been granted time, and I object to my question being closed. This is a very significant hearing, Mr. Chairman, and these buses are nefarious in nature and were filled with FBI informants dressed as Trump supporters and deployed onto our Capitol on January 6th. Your day is coming, Mr. Wray.
Now,
all right, so that was his final statement and his questioning. But I encourage you to watch the whole thing. I watched it yesterday, and it'll be in the links as always. So all the links for everything today. Good morning, those ain't real, dude. Too, by the way. And I'm watching. Oh, another thing. Okay, so anyway, that's that's that. George Floyd is also trending now. Apparently, this is just from. I don't know when this happened. Apparently, Derek Chauvin filed a motion to overturn the conviction for the murder of George Floyd, claiming new evidence shows he didn't cause Floyd's death. Now, I'm sure that's related to the autopsy that was leaked. Now, there is also apparently there's a link to the autopsy. I don't know if I have that in the links today, But breaking, Derek Chauvin is seeking to overturn his conviction for the murder of George Floyd due to claiming that he has new evidence that shows he didn't cause Floyd's death. It'll be interesting if that happens, because the autopsy report that they showed says that the cause of death was due to the cocktail of drugs in his system. And I've always thought, I've watched this, I'm still of the mindset that he fails to do his job as far as the manslaughter charge, but the other charges were, one of them wasn't even applicable to the situation. And the murder charge, he didn't cause the death, and so probably shouldn't have been convicted of that. But he's certainly I always say situational awareness. Someone's dying. If he had made a quicker attempt to, I'm walking a thin line, because I think he should have attempted to revive him, and then he would have never been charged, right? And also, as I watched that video, okay, except for, there is a new documentary. I'm getting to that. As I watched that video over and over and over again, his knee wasn't on George Floyd's neck. His knee was on George Floyd's shoulder, except for one split second, and then he repositioned himself and he was on his shoulder. And George Floyd's talking the whole time saying, "I can't breathe." So it's just weird. Didn't they convict the cop that, good morning, Robert Banks, by the way, didn't they convict the cop that was just doing crowd control and was nowhere near? Yeah, they convicted all four of them on various charges. And that the cop that was doing crowd control, what was he supposed to do? Tackle Derek Chauvin when he thought he was doing a proper procedure? It's fascinating. It's a fascinating case. So, but yeah, there's evidence that he OD'd, and there you go. Now, and then another reason he's trending is because Glenn Greenwald's talking about him as far as comparing George Floyd to the people standing up for Israel, which is where he says, after George Floyd, many white progressives started fetishizing black people, insisting they're unsafe, soon to be murdered, spreading neurosis. Many non-Jewish conservatives are right now doing the same thing with Jews. Glad someone here heaped scorn on that toxic victimhood narrative. Now, this is a fascinating take, seeing as there are people in the streets vilifying Jews in the United States for what's happening in Israel. So maybe is this a hysteria on the right that Jews are in danger? I mean, since, what is it, 70% of all so-called hate crimes are perpetrated against Jews? It's hard to say. I'm sorry. All these people spewing hate about Jews and people getting beaten up, whatnot, in the street. I mean, they killed the guy with the flag, right? Beat him over the head with the bullhorn. I'm just curious what they're talking about here. But here's what let's see, how long is this thing?
There's never been a country as good to the Jews as the United States is. Okay. I think most Jews should feel, if they don't, incredibly grateful to be American. The First Amendment is an inextricable part of what makes this country this country. And so to me, the idea of endorsing a ban on BDS is just so anti-Jewish. And I obviously I'm offended by the idea of like boycotting Jews. I don't like that. But what I like even less is the idea of exercising state power against an individual citizen or business's right, or what
I'll
have
give her that
you,
point.
To express their political views. I hate all of that. Please walk down the street in my neighborhood and chant, "Palestine will be free from the river to the sea." That is your I don't want to say God-given, but that is your right as an American. And that is why
I don't have a problem with them protesting. I just feel
love
like
this country and think this is the best country on earth.
The consequences of that.
From the point of view, first of all, of just like state censorship, absolutely unacceptable, and
she's right.
Just so totally inappropriate. The second level of things we're seeing is students facing what they're seeing as harassment on college campuses. Now, is harassment happening? There's a lot of
Is she going to claim it's not?
There's a lot of
Is she going to claim it's not?
There have been 3 instances by my count of actual physical violence, or
which of course
physical
is a
acts.
crime. Those are crimes. Those are actual crimes.
Which of course is a crime, and we have like actual like laws on the books to protect people from them. I don't believe in hate crimes because I think for something to get from a crime to a hate crime means you're policing somebody's thoughts. I don't believe in that. So I don't even think that there should be such a thing as a hate crime. But those 3 events are crimes, will be prosecuted as such. 3 events, you've had thousands of people protesting. I mean, like, obviously.
Okay, 3 events that are recorded and have made the news. Come on. And again, I don't believe in hate crimes. I believe in crimes. Don't commit crimes against people. Again, a hate crime is a thought crime, and I don't believe in thought crimes. Otherwise, we'd be Europe, because Europe, there are thought crimes all over the place.
We've not met the bar of incitement to violence, right? This is not mass violence. And so to me, the messaging to college students that they should see themselves as unsafe, I hate it. I hate to see it. I hate to see Jewish students cowering. Like, that is the wrong message for this moment.
No, they shouldn't be cowering. They should be like, hey, fuck you. I'll fuck you up if you mess with me.
Put on tefillin. If you allow me to say that here. But
okay, so anyway, okay, she made some good points, and I'll give Glenn some leeway on that one. So there you go. Let's see. Oh, and then someone here, all these wannabe pro-Palestine Hamas protesters are the same groups of people that filled the streets during George Floyd riots. Remember, pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon, anything to create division, hate, and destruction. It's all for the camera. So this is, there's a shit ton of virtue signaling in these protests too. And because who's supposed to be the oppressed in this particular conflict? Oh, it's the poor Gazans and Palestinians, when their leadership and even some of the people participated in this massacre in Israel. So I'm just, I'm sorry. It's hello, Chris Crowlin, amazing disgrace, only because it's not considered a hate crime to murder white people. Well, I just don't believe in hate crimes, period. I don't think a crime is a crime. And if you did it because of hate, well, that's because you're an asshole, and it's still a crime. So that shouldn't change the the nature of the crime just because you had some thoughts. And that doesn't make sense because you can't police people's thoughts. All right. Someone mentioned, though, that there is a documentary. I'm assuming you mean the Alpha News documentary called The Fall of Minneapolis regarding George Floyd. Funny you should mention that, because I have that in the links today. It's on Rumble by Alpha News. It was a crowdfunded documentary produced by Liz Collin and some other people here. This is discussing what happened in Minneapolis with George Floyd, the riots and the whole thing. If you would like to watch that, I'll have that in the links today also. So there we go. Moving on, we've got, oh my gosh, I'm not even half the trending stuff yet. Also trending, Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro trending, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, is this one interesting. Now, if you recall, I have more than once made my feelings known about Candy, okay, Candace Owens. Not a fan, never was a fan. She's brilliant at making talking points and snapbacks and all that shit, but it's all listed talking points. And boy, when she gets forced to go off script, I think she's not all that bright, personally. And she is, for whatever reason, getting into some major controversy with her employer, the Daily Wire, and Ben Shapiro. And I think so far, it looks like Ben Shapiro is taking the road where he's vehemently disagreeing with her, but not going to fire her for whatever she's saying, because that would be hypocritical of him. But Don't Call Her Candy really ruins the Iggy Pop song for me. Well, it ruins the what was it? Cameo song for me too. Tastes like candy, even when you walk, even when your dog runs over me. You know that song, right? Doom, 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 doom. I'm an 80s kid, so that's the song I'm thinking of. Anyway, well, Iggy Pop's pre-80s, or he's 80s too. Anyway, so, now, Candace has done something very, very interesting that Candy's never done in the history of Candace Owens, at least not until November 14th, 2023. She tweeted the words, "Christ is King." Now, and our friend Tree, who's one of the prolific arbiters of all things stupid that Candace does, has actually pointed this out. First of all, she says, just a question for the Christians out there. Do you know when you're being played? Or are you so gullible that you sincerely believe that Candace Owens is on your team? Because she typed. Now, pointing out also that throughout the entire existence of Candace Owens' account, she has never uttered the words "Christ is King" until November 14th. And these two are just fighting on Twitter. So Ben says, Candace, if you feel that taking money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means quit. And then Candace says, you are so utterly out of line for suggesting that I cannot quote a biblical scripture. The Bible is not about you. Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, they're fighting about this Israel thing because Candace has been talking about basically, she's almost saying that Israel is wrong for whatever they're doing as far as retaliating, and it's just weird, especially since she was one of the people who went to Jerusalem when they moved the embassy, American embassy. In fact, here it is. Candace Owens went to Israel with Charlie Kirk to celebrate the moving the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem. You almost get the impression she was vaulted into political influencer status without having first developed any real coherent thoughts about relevant political issues. Oh my God, Michael Tracy, you're tearing her apart. I'm just going to tell you what people are talking. Dr. Darrell Scott, I have to give Ben Shapiro respect for standing up for his community like Candace Owens never stood up for hers. Yeah, so Candace has been one of the prolific critics of black people. Now, it's fine if she's a critic of black people, but she never has ever said anything good about black people. Not that she has to, but some people have noticed that, right? Someone else, and then Candace here, let's see, let's go down this little thread here, because this is fascinating. So here's what she did on November 14th. She said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men let me just show the whole quote here. When men shall revile you and persecute you and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. No one will serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." And then she types, "Christ is King." And which to Bryce and Gray says, "Glad you're posting Bible verses. You might want to keep reading, though." Other people, "You've been serving money this whole time." Oh, snap. Because that's all she is. She serves money constantly. And so people are taking sides on her and Ben Shapiro. I don't get it. So Ben replies to that by saying, go back. There we go. Thanks. Ben replies to that by saying, oh crap. Let me fix this. There we go. Ben says, "Candace, if you feel taking money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means quit." And she says, "You've been acting unprofessional and emotionally unhinged for weeks now, and we have all had to sit back and allow it, and have all tried to exercise exceeding understanding for your raw emotion." Playing the emotion card on Ben Shapiro. "But you cross a certain line when you come for scripture and read yourself into it. I will not tolerate it." Oh, well. And there's people fighting about this. Now some people, Cernovich, He's been indistinguishable from a far-left identity politics woke psycho. He's working for the soft cancel culture angle right now. I didn't fire Candace. She quit. But he should look up what constructive termination is. And then Malcolm Flex. We have all sat by and watched and comment on Ben's descent into unhinged anger and furor over the lack of support Israel once enjoyed. This is him finally hitting the breaking point. Cat turd I never could stand Ben. Now, on the other hand, we have people supporting Candace or Ben. Oh, stop it. Everyone knew you were talking about him. No, you crossed the line, not Ben. This is why social media platform is the best. It's always full of entertainment and drama. Oh, that's true. That's true. Candace interviewed you once. You were great. Ben, don't know you, but you're great. Why are you two doing this on X in the public square? I've been in this business for 34 years. Please stop this and work on it away from everyone else. Hit me up privately if you want my help, but the haters are eating us up. That's the bigger problem. They've taken this out in the public square. It's just weird. So anyway, that's why she's trending. Also, Ben's trending. Basically the same things. But the idea that she starts throwing out Bible verses just tells me how disingenuous she is. She's never, ever, ever, ever done any Bible verses. Are you kidding me? So anyway, and Christ is King is trending because now too, some people are saying, well, wasn't it Nick Fuentes who decided that Christ is King is a euphemism for I hate Jews? Like, it's not an inherently Jew-hating phrase. It's what Christians believe. But every time I see it in a bio, it's because I'm getting screeched at by a groiper. Because, didn't she reach out to the groipers at some point? But so now a lot of people are tweeting Christ is King because of Candace Owens. So this is a non-constructive fight on the internet, and it just looks shit for everybody. And also Tucker Carlson had Candace on briefly last night, I guess. Notice this guy doesn't have any real retort to Tucker's actual point, just sprinkle some anti-Semitic allegations on him. And let's get out of here. So he's saying that Tucker Carlson goes full on anti-Semite, claiming the rich Jews are funding the completely white genocide while only caring about Israel. Now, is that what he said, or was that what he takes out of this clip right here?
However, then I thought, well, wait a second. If the biggest donors at, say, Harvard have decided, well, we're going to shut it down now, where were you the last 10 years when they were calling for white genocide? You were allowing this. And then I found myself really hating those people, actually. That you're okay with
now,
that?
what is he saying? What does it have to do with...
And this is what I've been trying to explain to the pro-Israel lobby, that what you are seeing as lack of support is people that are asking the question is, where were you as we have endured all of this?
You were paying for it, actually.
Right.
You were paying for it.
You were paying for it.
Because you were calling my children immoral for their skin color. You paid for that.
And
so why shouldn't I be mad at you? I don't understand.
Hello,
and
Renee.
So that is, obviously you have a ton of white people that are asking this question, and they're now being called anti-Semitic. And I think that that's wrong. I think these are meaningful questions that deserve to be answered. Why was this sort of verbiage allowed into the curriculum? I mean, could you imagine if in the curriculum it said that every Jewish person born is a terrorist?
It's weird that she used that example because a lot of people say, oh, every Muslim born is a terrorist. But anyway, so anyway, his interview with Candace is in full also in this link, and also several other topics, because it was not just an interview with Candace. It's a 30-minute show with a few different topics. So if you want to watch Tucker Carlson's show, it'll be in there too. Let me move on because this is the other one though. This is the other one. This is the one I actually pulled us out of the list. If you think Candace Owens is terrible now, wait until you find out she's always been terrible. And some of us had the guts to say it out loud way back in the day, namely real Kira Davis, who took on a mountain of hate to break down exactly what Owens' grift is. And in fact, you may remember that I did an entire show on that particular subject. We went through Kira Davis's article back here in Red State. In fact, I'm going to link it again. I'm going to put it right here in the links. Here it is. Back in June 12th, 2020, we talked about the trouble with Candace. And Kira Davis laid it out beautifully about how she's a grifting machine. All right, next, Bin Laden is trending. Now, Bin Laden is trending because apparently a bunch of TikTokers have been posting the letter from Osama bin Laden. Here's Megan McCain. I'm so scared of Gen Z because apparently their brains are so poisoned. They think it's cool to share quotes from Osama bin Laden's manifesto on TikTok like that's normal or rational. Like, how do we even fix that? So TikTok left is now reporting the idea that bin Laden was the good guy and that the U.S. military is comparable to terrorists who fly planes in the building. Here's one of them, an example of one of these.
Being like, did you forget the violence? Did you skip over all the religious extremism? Did you miss that part? Did you forget what he did? And to those people, to anyone who would have that reaction to seeing
we're talking about
that reaction
about Osama bin Laden,
to bin Laden's letter to America, how do you respond to people who support the U.S. military? When you see somebody supporting the U.S. military, openly showing support for the U.S. military, are you vastly more disgusted with them? You ask them if they just haven't noticed all the religious extremism? Do you ask them if they've forgotten about all of the violence? Are you proportionately disgusted?
Proportionately?
Because you should be vastly more disgusted. If not, why isn't your reaction proportionate?
I don't know what you mean by proportionate. What? Give me an example of what a proportionate looks like. I've always wondered about that. So anyway, now the one thing that happened though too regarding this is the Guardian. Over in the UK, it's true, the Guardian really did remove the text of a bin Laden letter from 2002 because it was going viral on TikTok. Apparently, censorship is preferable to letting the youngsters read notable historical text as if they're too dumb to find it elsewhere on the internet. Well, I don't know if that's why, but it's kind of weird that the TikTokers are giving Obama... Here it is. Don't fall for this. The goal of this campaign is to get everyone to look up the letter, thereby spreading bin Laden's message. We get baited daily with these simple yet effective social engineering games because we react emotionally instead of tactically. None of these kids read the letter. They're reading from a script. This is an orchestrated campaign, which is why they all sound practically the same. All of them are about college age and have been raised on a diet of CRT and victimhood. They can barely read anything past 5-word captions on a video. This tactic is employed often on TikTok and the mainstream media on nearly all issues. They think tactically as to what you're being manipulated into feeling and or doing, then deliberately choose the opposite to avoid falling these traps. So that's probably a good idea too, because based on the past 24 hours, thousands of TikToks at least have been posted where people share how they feel, how they just read bin Laden's infamous letter to America in which he explained why he attacked the United States, and then they're supporting that. So yeah, is that an op? It does kind of sound like an op, doesn't it? All right. Taiwan is trending, probably because Joe Biden's boss is visiting. Apparently, this is so here's a Chinese propaganda account. U.S. imperialists want their hegemony in Asia. They want to rule over Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and all Southeast Asia region. They hate the DPRK, especially China, because China won't allow them to do as they please, and they aren't able to subjugate it. Apparently, China is enraged and declares Biden calling President Xi Jinping a dictator is extremely wrong and political manipulation. He called Biden slipped up at the tongue in his diplomatic efforts, calling Xi Jinping a dictator, which I guess maybe he's elected or something. I don't know how it works in China. Where is that? Where is it? Now, this Barry McCaffrey says, an excellent bilateral by President Biden with President Xi well worked in advance by Secretary of State Blinken, China economy in the dumps, Chinese people chafing under increasingly rigid surveillance state, mill-to-mill contact reestablished, must deter invasion of Taiwan. So this is Michael McFaul. Biden meeting with Xi a success. Talking is almost always better than not. Except he called him a dictator. that probably didn't go over. That didn't go over well. That did not go over well. Oh boy. China one invaded and crushed neighboring land unprovoked, where the world turned a blind eye, and the other is Israel. Okay, whatever. And then also one thing trending, Murfreesboro, Tennessee is trending. Now, apparently some people are saying that the city of Murfreesboro passed a law saying that you can be fined or be taken to court for being publicly gay in Murfreesboro. And there's a little bit of argument about what this law actually says, what it was actually passed. Now, this is what the inclusive crowd is upset about in Murfreesboro. This has nothing to do with banning homosexuality and everything to do with protecting minors. These people are sick and need to be stopped. In a response to the event in June 2023, the city passed a community decency policy to assist in the determination of conduct, materials, and events that may be judged as obscene or harmful to minors in accordance with the social morals of the community, according to the rules text. According to policy, no person shall knowingly, while in public space, engage in indecent behavior, display, distribute, or broadcast indecent material, conduct indecent events, or facilitate any of the foregoing prohibited acts, or otherwise subjected minors to a prurient instruments or behaviors, material, or events that are patently offensive to prevailing standards and in the adult community as a whole with respect to what is suitable material for minors. Now, this is strange. This is strange. So someone says this is a real city ordinance of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. They just banned any public displays of affection between two men or two women in the city. They are claiming in this law that the simple act of being homosexual is perverse or sexual in nature or harmful to minors. Now, where does it? I don't think this says between. This did not say between two men or two women. Here's what the part they highlighted. Used in this article, minor means any person under the age of 17 years. Nudity means the showing of human male or female genitals, pubic areas, or buttocks with less than a full opaque covering, or the showing of the female breast with less than a full opaque covering of any portion thereof below the top of the nipple, or the depiction of covered male genitals in discernibly turgid state. Sexual contact means acts of masturbation, homosexuality, sexual intercourse, or physical contact with a person's clothed or unclothed genitals, pubic area, buttocks, or if such person be a female breast, sexual side. So that doesn't say anything about gay or not. Now, I question those types of laws, but it doesn't say gay. It doesn't say anything about gay at all. And again, people are tweeting things like this. Brooklyn Dad Dumbass. Happy morning and happy Thursday to everyone who rejects the hatred from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which has just banned public homosexuality as a part of their crusade against the LGBTQ rights and whatever books they deem too scary to read. No, it doesn't say anything about homosexuality in it. It does not say that. And then other people quit posting lies and propaganda about Murfreesboro. Again, but you know what? One person says it, and the game of telephone begins. Again, no lie with Brian Taylor Cohen, who he says the city of Tennessee is banned being gay publicly. It does not say that. And again, even here, Tennessee passed an ordinance claiming that acts of... Now, notice how he does this. He puts in quotes, acts of, end quote, being, quote, homosexual, end quote, is considered, quote, sexual conduct, end quote, and may no longer be seen in public. The law is also now being used to ban books. No. That is absolutely not what they said. Okay. And again, I'm not a fan of these kinds of laws anyway, but still, don't lie about it. That's what they're doing. They're lying about it. It's weird. It's just weird. They just lie all the time. All right. I'm not going to get to any articles today, really. But let me finish this off, and I might get to one. Apparently, now Barbara Streisand has joined Cher in saying that she will leave the country if Donald Trump becomes president in 2024. You don't need to give me more reasons to vote for him, okay? Please, I don't care if you live here or not. Well, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. All right, I wanted to get to at least one article a day. I have, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20. I have like 40 articles open, and I haven't gotten to any of them. I feel bad, but there's a lot of good stuff. So I'll give you the highlights, and then we're going to get out of here. All right, so Miranda Devine in the New York Post as an editorial, as he hosts China's Xi, as in Xi Jinping, Biden delivers pitiful 2024 re-election platitudes that Republicans can't seem to beat. Just total platitudes and whatever, and boasted about Bidenomics, and for whatever reason, the Republicans are too dumb to take that on. So they hopefully somebody does. Somebody with funny hair. In National Post, apparently Qatar has struck a 3-day truce deal with Hamas, and Israel is negotiating a 3-day Gaza truce has been negotiated with Hamas by the state of Qatar, the wealthy oil kingdom that plays host to senior leadership of Hamas. The deal, which would entail the release of around 50 hostages, only 50 of the 200 and some, has been coordinated with the Joe Biden regime and the United States. So we'll see how that goes. In Daily Wire, Americans are breaking with Biden's handling of Israel-Hamas war, according to a poll. 32% of Americans believe the U.S. should support Israel, 9-point drop from a previous poll on October 12th and 13th. More Americans, 43%, are opposed to sending further weapons to Israel than those who are in favor of doing so, which is about 31%. Well, Israel has their own weapons, and if they buy their own weapons, I don't think we should be paying for them, but I'm certainly not opposed to selling them whatever they're doing. But anyway, it looks like they're negotiating a ceasefire, at least a 3-day one. We'll see how that goes. In Front Page, lifestyles of the rich and terrorists, just showing how the open-air prison has created a few billionaires in the Hamas leadership. This guy worth $4 billion. This guy worth $4 billion. This guy worth $3 billion. I didn't know you had billionaires in open-air prisons, so you want to read about the high life that some of the people in Hamas. Remember, there's Mercedes and Maybach dealers. There's supercars and all kinds of stuff being sold in Gaza, the open-air prison. So we were seeing the video of what it was like last week before this certain event on October 7th. New York Post, swarm of violent anti-Israel protesters begging for a ceasefire clash with Capitol cops outside the DNC headquarters. We just talked about that. Hundreds of violent anti-Israel that's the same sentence. Jesus, I hate when they do that. But they injured at least 6 police officers, only 1 arrest. Now, there's one particular person in this crowd. Oh, that's not. I showed you a picture earlier. We'll get to her. And we already knew that Rashida Tlaib, member of a private Facebook group sympathetic to Hamas terrorists. We talked about that 2 days ago, before Breitbart. We already knew about it. So there you go. There's another article about it. In the Daily Caller, elite universities that are hotbeds for pro-Hamas activism have received billions and billions of dollars in federal grants and tax benefits. This is one of those things where I'm conflicted. Well, first of all, whether they're getting federal grants and tax benefits, I'm sure that there are also pro-Israel factors in these universities. And if they're going to give grants to these universities, how about it be for something like kids learning shit? That's all I care about. Elite universities across the U.S. received over $33 billion in grants and contracts from the federal government since 2018, according to Open the Books. 10 elite universities with large endowments have taken billions in federal tax dollars, according to the new report from Open the Books. The collective endowment of these universities grew from $172.2 billion in 2018 to $237 billion by the end of 2020. Why are we giving grants to colleges with endowments of totaling over $200 billion. Why? Why are we considering forgiving student loans to kids that go to these schools? Why not make the universities take care of that? If they want to, and they're the ones who are saying, oh, we need to give student loan relief. Well, why don't you give the student loan relief? This is crazy. I'm sorry. This drives me nuts. And then they build water parks for their students. The ADL has tracked 234 pro-Hamas rallies on U.S. campuses since October. Pro-Hamas rally, 234 pro-Hamas rallies. That's in the Washington Free Beacon. Legal insurrection. New York University slammed with a massive anti-Semitism lawsuit. 3 Jewish students. Oh man, what? Let's see. It's no secret that New York University has been a hotbed of anti-Semitic activity for quite some time, as we've reported. For example, just since the Hamas terrorist butchery on October 7th, we reported several anti-Semitic incidents on campus. But even before that, anti-Semitism and other forms of anti-white racism and other despicable conduct were alive and well at NYU. There's several. This is articles that all the reporting on this. Okay, so apparently, President Trump even gave Adela. Okay, in fact, anti-Semitism was so rampant at NYU that a Jewish student named Adela Kojab sued NYU in 2019 after numerous anti-Semitic events occurred on campus. NYU largely ignored her complaints about the events and even gave the Students for Justice in Palestine its President's Service Award. Oh my God, the highest award NYU gives to student groups on campus. And then a few days after she was there with President Trump, the president signed a landmark executive order including Jewish students as a protected class under Title IV. Crucially, the EO also defined anti-Semitism according to the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance classification, which includes bigoted anti-Israel behaviors common to groups involved in campaigns or boycotts or demonize Israel. Now, okay, here's where I'm disagreeing. Yes, I don't know if it's the federal government's job. If there's actual threats, the government should avoid people getting threatened, right? But just having thoughts, you're getting close to that line. This is about having thoughts. I'm not a fan of this, but anyway, 3 Jewish students have now sued NYU in federal court in Manhattan for allegedly gross anti-Semitism. From the complaint preliminary statement, the age-old virus of anti-Semitism is alive and well at New York University. This case arises from NYU's egregious civil rights violations that have created a hostile educational environment in which the plaintiff and other Jewish NYU students have been subjected to pervasive acts of hatred, discrimination, harassment, and intimidation. And then they go on to describe the suit. So we'll see what happens with that. If it's a civil rights suit that it'll be interesting. It's a federally funded university, in a state school, whatever. And, civil rights cases, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. So, Cornell graduate student workers vote to join Anti-Israel National Union. Shut up, phone. The Cornell Graduate Students United recently voted to join a national union. The Cornell Sun reports they have won their unionization election by a vote of 1,873 to 80 and will federate as Cornell Graduate Students United, an organization fighting for the rights of graduate workers under the National United Electrical, Radio, and Machine Workers America Union. 128. Okay. Voting. What does that have to do with? Oh, it's an anti-Israel national union. Okay. I got it. Of course. It's an Ivy League school. Where else would they join? Okay. But also in New York, campus anti-Semitism shows its time to track the foreign cash flowing into the U.S. universities. Now that I can see. You've got to be concerned about what foreign people are funding the education of Americans, because they don't necessarily have our best interest in mind. But this is due to like different groups that may not have the same values as us, or different places. I don't know. I don't care where universities get their money. I just want it all to be transparent. And I'm going to finish here. There's a whole bunch more articles I have open, but I got to go. But there is a not so surprising bromance between Palestine and Marxism. This is, well, it's kind of the same thing. It's you can read the article. The only other one I wanted to get to is our friend Megan Fox, and let's see if I can find this, because I do want to. She's been fighting with the Wauwatosa School Board in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, and she's got an article in PJ Media on how she has seemingly won that fight. Last year, this is Megan Fox, our friend who's been on the show. Last year, I covered a board meeting at the Wauwatosa School Board in Wisconsin. The board was implementing pornographic content in its elementary school program that was so graphic that local news wouldn't show it on television. Parents, activists, and protesters streamed to the meeting to let their voices be heard against the sexualization of children. Among them was Jamie Mitchell, the head of Gays Against Groomers. When it came time for public comment, the board began to intimidate the crowd, including Mitchell, demanding that she dox herself on camera and give her address before she could speak. The board also shut down any speech that was critical towards members, chastising members of the crowd for using their first names, even though they are elected officials. Though I was there to cover the event for my YouTube channel and only planned to stream it without comment, I couldn't help myself after watching all the violations of rights in which the board gleefully engaged. The following comments will go down in Wauwatosa history as one of the worst moments the board has ever suffered. How long is this? I think this is too long. Yeah,
Please state your name and address.
All right. Hello, my name is Megan Fox, and I'll tell you why I'm not going to give you my address. For one, I just read your Wisconsin Rules of Open Meetings Act. It's a law. And the law in Wisconsin is that the public has a right to participate in your meetings, and nowhere in it does it say that anyone has to dox themselves online in order to participate in a public meeting. I want you to know that school boards like yourselves have been sued successfully before in the past for doing this. It's considered an intimidation technique. Now, you can sigh and put your face in your hands, but you need to listen to me when I tell you that you can be sued for what you're doing. You are violating people's rights. And what you did today by cutting off public comment in the beginning of the meeting when you had a full house of people who wanted to speak to you, and you made them wait 2 hours, and most of them had to go home because they had to work jobs tomorrow, or because they had to get kids somewhere, or because they had to go home and get dinner. What you did is violating the public's First Amendment rights to address their public bodies for grievances. It is a violation of the Constitution, and you should each be ashamed. Sharon, you should be ashamed of yourself. Leanne, you should be ashamed of yourself. Michael, you should be ashamed of yourself. And you too, Jenny, and you too, Jessica. And let me tell you something else. When people use names in front of your school board and they come in and they say, I want to talk to you about a specific person on the board, you are not allowed to tell them that their First Amendment right to speak is curtailed in some way because they want to use a name.
What they do here
is illegal. What you are doing is against the Wisconsin Open Meetings Act. Now, listen, I have 3 minutes, and I know that my time is not up. You are not to interrupt me while I am speaking. This is public comment time, and I'm a member of the public. You can sit there and be as uncomfortable as you want, but I have this 3 minutes. So listen to me, Michael. When you are talking to people, when they come here to see you, you are put into this position, by the way, by the people of this town. They are your first priority.
Surprise. Where are you?
They are your first priority. They are the people you're responsible to.
Do you need me to mute this?
Yes.
Why would you mute me?
They cut her off. They cut her off before her time was up. So you might remember me helping raise $10,000 to pay Robert Barnes' law to sue them for cutting me off unlawfully before my time expired. That lawsuit was finally settled, and the Wauwatosa bad actors had to pay every dime of legal fees, cut me a check for what Alex Stein calls Olive Garden money, and issue a public apology. So the city of the Wauwatosa School District, she won the lawsuit. Basically, they settled it, and not only did the board have to pay my lawyers and write an apology, but it also had to change its public participation policy. Before the lawsuit, Wauwatosa School Board policy on public comments was overly broad and targeted the First Amendment right to speak with outrageous language. The presiding officer may interrupt, warn, terminate participant statements, public comment when the statement is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, directed to anyone other than the school board presiding officer, obscene, or irrelevant or disruptive. The settlement that we agreed to change that sentence to the following. The presiding officer may interrupt, warn, or terminate public comment when the statement is too lengthy, directed at anyone other than the board presiding officer, obscene or disorderly. So they took out some of that language based on this. And if you want to get more information on Robert Barnes and Megan Fox talk about it in this video, in the link in the article. Also today, there's a whole bunch of other articles that I haven't even touched on. So I encourage you to check out the links today. I'll drop them in the chat during the outro and, of course, in the description in Rumble and YouTube and on Discord. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. I apologize for having to cut myself off, but I got to cut myself off today. So you all have a wonderful day. We'll see you back tomorrow. Happy Thursday. There's FTGs to go around all in these articles, so you can check it out on your own. Thank you. Gotta go. My name is P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.